Seguimos en FutureCom 2014 haciendo la cobertura del congreso de FutureCom que se celebra en la ciudad de Sao Paulo, como ya deben saber por todos los vídeos anteriores. Nos visitan 3 ejecutivos de ERicsson con quien vamos a hablar de temas como innovación en redes móviles, banda ancha móvil, la sociedad conectada y todos estos temas que saben que ERicsson está comentando en todos sus foros y paneles. Voy a cambiar al inglés porque el idioma común que tenemos con los panelistas es ese idioma. Gentlemen, welcome to telesemanal.com and FutureCom. So you are ERicsson, obviously you're a big fish, everybody knows that. First question would be if you can tell us a little bit first what you are showcasing. What is the main message we are seeing if we're visiting your booth, which is actually across from ours, much smaller ours obviously. But if you can tell us what is the main message that you're trying to convey here at FutureCom. I don't know which one I caught you off guard, I know.
Yeah, we can take it. One of the main messages that we are discussing here this week is about superior network quality and performance. So we have a lot of discussions about this. This is a key area that we are addressing this week.
Why do you have a car in your booth?
Yeah, to show innovation, right?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, when it comes about innovation, I mean, in Brazil we have a long history of doing research activities for ERicsson. I mean, global research activities. Examples would be 3G, LTE, LTE Advanced, and today, as we speak, we have research projects on LTE.
Okay.
5G.
5G?
5G.
So you are showcasing in Brazil 5G or you are researching 5G?
We are researching 5G.
Okay. Tell me a little bit how does that work in terms of ERicsson researching 5G here and how does that connect with other facilities you may have, I don't know, in Sweden or in the US or in Asia Pacific, I don't know, Japan or wherever you may have some labs?
Our work is based on open innovation, meaning that we join forces with the best universities in Brazil. There is a lot of talent here in Brazil. One example would be Federal University of Ceará in the Northeast, and they are together with us in this radio access network research since 2010. And they are the ones supporting us with researching 5G, things like network quality and performance, transceivers architecture and control, HSPA, etc., etc. So very talented people.
Okay, 5G is about, I'm assuming, getting a lot of people connected,
yes,
but also getting machines connected.
That's correct.
Everybody's talking about 2020 as the date where potentially 5G could be commercially available somewhere in the world, probably Japan or Northern Europe, who knows, perhaps Brazil. So tell us what can we expect from this technology and what things are being looked at that should improve what we're seeing in 4G or in LTE Advanced and so on.
I mean, we need to see 5G as a kind of condominium where technologies get together. So we are talking about the coexistence of 3G, 4G, and more complex use cases to make machine-to-machine connections, as example, and ultra speeds, things like virtual reality, ultra virtual reality, connected cars, connected traffic lights, and many complex cases.
Now, when you say that it's a way of connecting past technologies with new technologies and creating this combo of many access points to make sure everybody's connected, for some reason I thought the idea would be just to disregard as much as the old technology as possible and just jump into the super fast technology.
No, so I can take that question. I think, as you know, what we are showing here, ERicsson is all about network society vision we have, where everything which can benefit from connectivity will be connected. So as you might know, ERicsson came with a vision of 50 billion connected devices. That's a vision where we believe that besides people, individuals, society, industries will be connected. Yeah. And that's all about 5G. 5G will have a use case which will be much beyond consumers. So you will see car industry, transport industry, utilities, different industries will need different connectivity requirements, and that's where 5G will solve that issue. Okay. While what we believe is that a lot of operators are investing today in 3G and 4G, and we do not foresee that they have to rip off their investments. Whatever they're investing today, they will carry with them, and 5G will be an enhancement to be able to connect different devices and different industries onto the network.
Okay. Now, when do you expect, for example, when we're talking about mobile broadband, one of the things that obviously we need to talk is spectrum, and actually here at the show, some of the people, of the operators were saying we need more spectrum. Obviously that's what they always say in all these shows, but okay, they repeated this year again. Obviously we need to remove some technologies like 2G to allow for refarming and having more spectrum.
Yeah. I mean, you see the demand for the user experience is going up and up. Few years back we had 2G, then came 3G. Already today people are expecting 10 megabit of downlink and 1 megabit of uplink kind of usage with 4G, 4D video and all. And that will require spectrum. I mean, spectrum is a scarce resource, and we are working very actively with all operators around the globe and in Brazil also to see how can we optimize usage of the spectrum. And that's the strength Ericsson has to work with operators.
Okay. Obviously with innovation, 5G, obviously with the 4G advancements and so on and the different technologies, traffic is going to grow tremendously. That's something that everybody agrees with that, and especially you mentioned the 50 billion devices for 2020. What are operators going to do with this traffic? How are we going to make networks efficient enough
so
that they
we
can
have
support
something
this?
called the HETNet, heterogeneous network. So operator will have a macro layer of coverage, which most of the operators are building today, and then they will have micro layer, and then they will have in-building solutions. And in-building solutions are extremely key because 70% of the traffic, the data traffic, are going to be indoors eventually. And that's why in this FutureCom exhibition, we are launching a new Pico base station, which is 6402, which will then support both 3G, LTE, and also the Wi-Fi access point.
Okay.
So we believe the densification of the networks will happen, and there will be a heterogeneous network, and that's where we are launching our indoor portfolio, which is then Pico. And as you might remember, last year we launched Radio Dot solution.
Yeah, yeah. How is that progressing, the Radio Dot solution, and in terms of the operators looking at it and saying, okay, I want to use this solution?
Everybody wants the Radio Dot.
Everybody wants it?
That's fantastic. We discussed this last year here.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that we are very close to have the initial projects here in Brazil, which is fantastic.
Excellent.
Right? This is what we discussed last year. And this year we are just launching the new Pico 6402, as Anu said. And this is another product that everybody wants as well.
What would be the difference between those two products? I mean, what's the differentiation between the one you announced last year and this one this year?
We can segment. So the Dot, although Dot is small,
yeah,
it fits better on big areas, bigger than 5,000 square meters.
Okay.
The Picos, they are addressing the buildings with less than 5,000 square meters.
Okay.
So there are 10 million buildings roughly globally with less than 5,000 square meter. And then you need this solution, Pico, which will have then Wi-Fi, 3G and LTE integrated.
Okay.
That's a fantastic solution. You know what? In Brazil, still today, around 10% of the mobile broadband subscribers, they have a downlink experience lower than 100 kilobits. So we need to find those solutions to address those issues on the network. So we still have a lot to do on improving the network.
If the downlink is that bad, I cannot imagine what the uplink is.
Let's not talk about uplink here.
Okay. Now, tell me about how the operators are reacting to the fact that they're going to have to change the topology of their networks. Obviously, macro cells are not enough, so they need to add all these new devices, and they're being offered a lot of different types of infrastructure.
But that's why we are talking about heterogeneous network. I think it's very important for operators to make the network in a geography work hand in hand. And that's why we believe heterogeneous network where layer of macro, micro, Pico and the Radio Dot will be more or less from the same software parity point of view. And that's extremely important for operators.
Okay.
And the coordination between those layers are extremely important.
Tell us more about that.
I mean, how do you make efficient use of the spectrum? I mean, you cannot have solutions on the small cells that does not talk and coordinate with the macro network, as you mentioned. So that's what Arun is saying. We have common features, common software, common algorithms that we can make those networks to talk and coexist.
Okay. Now, another important point that the industry is raising, and actually with the release 13 of LTE, we've seen that 3GPP has said they're going to include unlicensed spectrum for LTE. Can you comment on that? Is Ericsson actually looking at LTE on unlicensed bands beyond Wi-Fi? Is this something that it's kind of science fiction at this point, or?
I mean, I can comment. Of course, as you said yourself, that the spectrum is a scarce resource. So of course, we as a technology leader in this industry are constantly looking at how can we work with operators to use all form of spectrum, whether it is 3GPP or unlicensed band. So I can tell you that we are working actively with operators to find solutions which help them optimize the resource, whether it's 3GPP or non-3GPP, to have a solution for them.
Okay, excellent. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today here, and have a good remaining of the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.